Srila Siddharshami explains that the state highways, Ratya, were in the front and the secondary roads, Vitya, were behind. And between them were courtyards, Chatvarani. Within these courtyards were surrounding walls, and within the walls stood golden residences, atop which shone crystal watchtowers crowned with golden pots. Thus the buildings were multi-story. The word vastu indicates that the houses and buildings were constructed on ample plots of land with plenty of room for green areas. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Shayam Rupakatah Mahyam Dadati Shapandantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Shri Advaita Vedadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Before speaking, I'd like to ask permission and blessings from all devotees, and especially those who are senior by age or advancement in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. So this is the reference in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, because at the time of the first Sankirtan, all the residences in the 9 islands of Navadvip were decorated very wonderfully. Plus, all the roads were also decorated seemingly instantaneously. So Vrindavan Das Thakur is likening that to what happened at the development of Dwarka. Instantaneously, all these things appeared by the arrangement of Lord Krishna with the help of Vishvakarma. So you see that there, in the Western history, or the history that's taught in Western society, they credit the Mughals for bringing gardens to India. Did you know that? Because the Mughals, yeah. So, but here we see the gardens were already there in Dwarka arrangement by Lord Krishna. So it could be that they came, and then after a certain period, the gardens became less prominent, and then the Mughals popularized them again. But of course, certainly we see there's gardens here, and many different kinds. This is just describing the buildings that are not specifically the palaces of Lord Krishna. What's missing here, we don't see, is a figure of 900,000. We don't see that. So I don't know about that. Because in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, it says there's 900,000 palaces of Krishna. We knew, isn't it? 900,000 palaces, yeah. So we know that Lord Krishna had 16,108 queens, and so he had a queen for every palace, a palace for every queen, that is. And but there's apparently many more palaces for all of his. Of course, Lord Balaram was there, Ugrasena was there, many other heroes and family members and exalted citizens. So here are the numbers fixed at 900,000 jeweled palaces, just to give us an idea of the splendor of Dwarka and the splendor of the Sankirtan, the inauguration of the Sankirtan, public Sankirtan movement for Lord Chaitanya. One thing we also saw was that there's plants and creepers from the heavenly planets. Perhaps you remember that they're, what's that? Mother Vindhyavali is saying something.
Parijata.
Parijata came. Yeah, Parijata. So apparently, Parijata, we read that Parijata came a little bit later when Lord Krishna went to Indra Puri with Satyabhama. She wanted the Parijata tree. So apparently some other heavenly trees were also there, heavenly plants in Dwarka. They're not specified exactly which kind. Some places Srila Prabhupada equates the Parijata with the Kalpa Vriksha also. This is very interesting. So this is nicely described. Next verse. Oh, if less comments or questions about this. Yeah, okay. Mother Mukti, go ahead.
So long. যে কালে যাদব সঙ্গে সেই দ্বারকায় জল কেলি করিলেন সেই দ্বিজ রাজ জগতে বিদিত হয় লবণ সাগর ইচ্ছা মাত্র হইল অমৃত জলধর.
At that time, when the Lord of the Brahmanas enjoyed water sports with the Yadavas in that abode of Dwarka, by his sweet will, thee. I have it here. It's somehow cut. There it is. Celebrated salty ocean transformed into an ocean of nectar. Okay. These things, one might be skeptical of these things that they're possible, but without being able to do wonderful things, there's really no meaning of God. God must be able to do things within our conception, beyond our conception with ease. Next verse.
হরিবংশে কহেন সেসব গুপ কথা এতে কো সন্দেহ কিছু না করিও এথা.
These confidential topics are described in the Harivangsha. Therefore, do not maintain any doubt in this regard. You know about the Harivangsha? What is the Harivangsha? Prananath, you Prabhu, you know Harivamsa. No?
The generation of Lord Hari or something like that.
Something. Vangsha, of course, Vangsha can mean family or descendants.
Dynasty.
Yeah, dynasty.
Generation.
Hari, and Hari is Lord. So the Mahabharata is written by Srila Vyasadeva for us people in Kali Yuga who are less intelligent. But primarily, the Mahabharata focuses on the activities of the Pandavas and their dynasty, who are great devotees of the Lord. And so we read about the great devotees of the Lord and we get benefit from that. And along the way, also, Lord Krishna comes in and out of the uh, of the action that's going on in the storyline. Harivamsa is a commentary or discussion of the Srimad of Mahabharata, focusing particularly on Lord Hari. Sometimes it's called the Harivangsha Purana. So it's also a bona fide literature, and but it focuses particularly on details in the Mahabharata related to Hari, Lord Krishna. Next verse.
সেই প্রভু নাচে নিজ কীর্তনে বিহ্বল আপনে উপসন্ন সকল মঙ্গল.
That same Lord now became overwhelmed with his own kirtan, and all auspiciousness automatically manifest. Next verse.
ভাগীরথী তীরে প্রভু নৃত্য করি যায় আগে পাছে হরি বলি সর্বলোকে ধায়.
As the Lord danced along the bank of the Ganges, everyone in front and behind the Lord chanted the name of Hari. So apparently there weren't people who were just playing kartals or mridanga and not chanting. Apparently everybody was chanting in Lord Chaitanya's kirtan, as that's the focus of the kirtan is chanting. So if we're considering how you and I might be able to enter Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan party, here's a clue, is to actually, when participating in kirtan, actually chant the holy names and hear the holy names. That's and if you remember, prior to this public Sankirtan, the first public Sankirtan that Lord Chaitanya inaugurated, he told most of the people to go to their homes. And that went on for a year and to have kirtan in their homes. So one good result of that is if they do kirtan daily, regularly in their homes, they practice and they get good at it. And their hearts become cleansed. So when they come together for this kirtan, they can really participate in a wonderful way in time, in concert with Lord Chaitanya's chanting and dancing along with his associates. Next verse.
আচার্য গোসাই আগে জন কত লয়ান নৃত্য করি চলিলেন পরমানন্দ হইয়া।
Advaita Acharya led his group to the front and danced in great ecstasy as they proceeded along. Yeah, next verse.
তবে হরিদাস কৃষ্ণ রসের সাগর আগায় চলিলা নৃত্য করিয়া সুন্দর।
Next, Haridas, an ocean of happiness and Krishna consciousness, danced beautifully as he proceeded along by the Lord's order. Haridas, coming from a Muslim background, was participating as one of the associates of Lord Chaitanya. Yeah, no, yeah, good.
তবে নৃত্য করিয়া চলিলা শ্রীনিবাস কৃষ্ণ সুখে পরিপূর্ণ যায় হার বিলাস।
Thereafter, Srinivas, who was full of happiness in Krishna consciousness, danced in the procession. So sometimes Srivas is sometimes the same person, not always. The Srinivas or Srivas, same. In this case, this is Lord Chaitanya's member of the Panchatattva, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas, or Srinivas, same person. They danced. And it wasn't just that the younger section danced, but Advaita Acharya was at least in his 60s at the time. Srivas was a senior Lord Chaitanya also, so they were dancing all. Okay.
এই মতো ভক্তগণ আগে নাচি যায় সবারে বেরিয়া এক সম্প্রদায় গায়।
In this way, the devotees danced in the front of the procession. They were each surrounded by a group of singers.
সকল পশ্চাতে প্রভু গৌরাঙ্গ সুন্দর জানে ন করিয়া নৃত্য অতি মনোহর।
Lord Gaurasundar danced most enchantingly as he followed behind everyone. So first who was in front?
গৌরাঙ্গ সুন্দর
Who was in front? Are you following? You could have this picture of the Sankirtan party in your mind. It's a big one. Advaita Acharya was there, right? Srivas, Haridas, and then in the back we have Lord Chaitanya. And we'll see. Lord Chaitanya on one side was Nityananda Prabhu, the other side was Gadadhar Prabhu. We'll see.
মধুকণ্ঠ হইলেন সর্বভক্তগণ, কবু নাহি গায়ে সেহ হইল গায়ন।
All the devotees began singing sweetly. Those who never sang before also engaged in singing. So apparently some people were newcomers, even though they're taken up by this chanting. Okay.
মুরারি মুকুন্দ দত্ত রামায় গোবিন্দ, বক্রেশ্বর বাসুদেব আদি ভক্তবৃন্দ।
Murari, Mukunda Datta, Ramai, Govinda, Vakreshwar, and Vasudev were among the devotees present there. So just by hearing the names of these great devotees, we become purified. That's when we chant the Prema Dvani, Jai Om, etc. I mean, Srila Prabhupada sometimes would shorten it, but usually he chanted the whole Prema Dvani. It's auspicious. It's auspicious to hear all the names of the great devotees and the associates of Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. So there we're hearing these names of Mukunda, Datta, Murari, Govinda. Next verse.
সবেই নাচেন প্রভু বেড়িয়া গায়েন, আনন্দে পূর্ণিত প্রভু সংহতি যায় না।
They all danced and sang around the Lord, who continued along in great ecstasy.
নিত্যানন্দ গদাধর যায় দুই পাশে, প্রেম সুধা সিন্ধু মাঝে দুই জন ভাসে।
Nityananda and Gadadhar were along on either side of the Lord. They both floated in the nectarian ocean of ecstatic love. Ah.
চলিলেন মহাপ্রভু নাচিতে নাচিতে, লক্ষ কোটি লোক ধায় প্রভুরে দেখিতে।
As Mahaprabhu danced along the path, millions of people rushed to see him.
কোটি কোটি মহাতাপ জ্বলিতে লাগিল, চন্দ্রের কিরণ সর্ব শরীরে হইল।
Light from the millions of burning torches reflected like the moon rays on the bodies of everyone. The word Mahatapa refers to large torches. Yeah. Big torches, Mahatapa. Yeah.
চতুর্দিকে কোটি কোটি মহাদীপ জ্বলে, কোটি কোটি লোক চতুর্দিকে হরি বলে।
Millions of large torches burned in the four directions, and millions of people chanted the name of Hari in the four directions.
দেখিয়া প্রভুর নিত্য অপূর্ব বিকার, আনন্দে বিহ্বল সব লোক নদিয়ার।
On seeing the Lord's dancing and his wonderful transformations of love, all the people of Nadia became overwhelmed in ecstasy. I don't know if you've ever seen a dance where just by seeing the dance, it moves your emotions. You become joyful or happy. So you can imagine just hearing and seeing Lord Chaitanya's dancing, special dancing, the effects it has on the minds of everyone who witnesses this. Something very special just by seeing that dance.
ক্ষণে হয় প্রভু অঙ্গ সব ধুলাময়, নয়নের জলে ক্ষণে সব পাখালয়।
Sometimes the Lord's entire body became covered with dust, and sometimes his entire body was washed by the tears from his eyes. So are those tears of sadness or happiness? What kind of tears are they? Are they crocodile tears?
Ananda Bhashpa.
What's that?
Ananda Bhashpa.
What does that mean?
With happiness, the tears come.
Okay. So we usually, when in our world, when we cry, we're usually crying because of unhappiness, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
We
true.
stub our toe, or
What?
somebody takes some of our stuff, or we lose a loved one or something, then we cry. But this is a different kind of crying. At least that's what Mother Vindhyavali says. But the tears are different tears.
Sanskrit, they say Ananda Bhashpa.
Okay. Gauranga bolite habe pulaka sharir hari hari bolite nayane babinir. Yeah, this is the symptom of ecstatic bliss, is the tears flowing from the eyes. And Narottam Das Thakur prays that when will, by chanting the name Gauranga, will my body hairs stand on end, and will my eyes be tears coming from my eyes just by chanting the name Gauranga. That's a very perfectional stage of chanting. Not imitation, not by imitating, but actual, and not that one wants to make a show. Kirtan is not for a show, but it's for pleasing Krishna. So when one actually can chant in such a way that Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya is pleased, automatically those manifestations will be there in one's body. Next verse.
সে কম্প সেই ঘর্ম সেবা পুলক দেখিতে, পাষণ্ডীর চিত্ত বৃত্তি লাগয়ে নাচিতে।
On seeing the shivering of his body, the perspiration on his body, and the hairs of his body standing on end, even the hearts of the atheists were moved. So this is very interesting. Usually we think of perspiration as not a very desirable thing, isn't it? So therefore there's so many different kinds of deodorants people use to reduce their perspiration. But here, the perspiration of the Lord is described as a impetus for moving or melting the hearts of the atheists. So we can see that everything associated with Krishna, associated with Lord Chaitanya, is the potency of Lord Chaitanya, even his perspiration, even his perspiration.
নগরে উঠিল মহা কৃষ্ণ কোলাহল, হরি বলি ঠাই ঠাই নাচয়ে সকল।
The entire city of Navadvip was filled with the vibration of Krishna's names. everyone began to dance and chant the name of Hari. So in one sense, we say that Navadvip was an entire city, but then also we say there's different villages and different on the different islands. There's Navadvip, right? Navadvip means 9 islands. So it's something like, here in Philadelphia, there's different boroughs, but especially if you go to New York, they have different 5 different places. There's Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, and Staten Island. They're all part of New York City, right? And they're separated by rivers, most of them. So, but they're all New York City. So similarly, even though there's 9 islands and there's villages on each of these 9 islands, still, it's all the city of Navadvip. Make sense? Okay, go ahead. Next.
হরিও রাম রাম হরিও রাম রাম হরি বলি নাচয়ে সকল ভাগ্যবান.
All those fortunate persons danced and sang Hari. O Ram, Ram, Hari, O Ram, Ram.
খানি খানি এই মতে মেলি দশ পাঞ্চে কেহ গায় কেহ বায় কেহ মাঝে নাচে.
At various places along the way, 5 or 10 people would gather together, with some singing, some playing instruments, and some dancing in their midst. The word vaya means to play an instrument.
লক্ষ লক্ষ কোটি কোটি হইল সম্প্রদায় আনন্দে নাচিয়া সর্ব নবদ্বীপে যায়.
Millions of groups danced in ecstasy throughout Navadvip. So here, the sampradaya is being translated as group sampradaya. We sometimes have a different connotation of sampradaya, like the Madhava sampradaya, Gaudiya Madhva Gaudiya sampradaya. But here, simply, it's also understood as can be group.
হরয়ে নম কৃষ্ণ যাদবায় নম গোপাল গোবিন্দ রাম শ্রীমধুসূদন.
They sang Haraye Nama Krishna Jadavaya Namaha Gopal Govindaram Sri Madhusudan. There we go. We were talking about that before. And here it is again. Lord Chaitanya, he liked this verse along with the Hare Krishna verse, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Yes.
কেহ কেহ নাচয়ে হইয়া এক মেলি দশে পাঞ্চে নাচে কাঙ্হা দিয়া করতালি.
Some people danced alone and some danced and clapped their hands in groups of 5 or 10.
দুই হাত যোদা দীপ তৈলের ভাজনে এত বড় অদ্ভুত তালি দিলেন কেমনে.
Although they held torches and oil pots in their 2 hands, it was most amazing how they simultaneously clap their hands. Can you understand how any idea how that might happen? So they got torch in one hand, an oil pot. I guess the oil is for replenishing the torch, but they're also clapping their hands. What's going on here?
They
We'll
might be,
see. Go ahead.
they might be putting on their head. Pot.
Oh, they put the hot. Okay, possible. Sure, sure. Let's see what we say. Let's see what's said here. Seems like it's a contradiction here.
Yeah.
হেন বুঝি বৈকুণ্ঠ আইলা নবদ্বীপে বৈকুণ্ঠ স্বভাব ধর্ম পাইলে কলুকে
It appeared that Vaikuntha had manifested in Navadvip, as all the inhabitants took on the characteristics found in Vaikuntha. Next verse.
জীবমাত্র চতুর্ভুজ হইল সকল না জানিল কেহ কৃষ্ণ আনন্দে বিহ্বল
All living entities assumed 4 arms. Yet, being overwhelmed in ecstatic love for Krishna, they did not even notice. So there's the answer, right? They needed those extra 2 arms for clapping in the kirtan. So we know that Krishna, Lord Krishna's transcendental abode is maybe said far away in Goloka Vrindavan, but at the same time, it can manifest anywhere where the chanting of the holy names are going on in devotion. Hari sada vaset tatra yatra bhagavata jana gayanti bhakti bhavena ahare nam eva kevalam. So this chanting of the holy names is going on with great purity for no other purpose but to please the Lord. So all the living entities by nature, every living entity, you, me, everyone, even the animals, their original nature is to be a devotee of Krishna. Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakti or Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunoi Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Kore Udoy. So the intrinsic nature of the Lord, of the living entity, is to be the servant of Krishna. And just by hearing and chanting, has been going on here, that ability, that situation comes about, is manifest. So that's what's going on. A very direct example of that verse. Next.
হস্ত যে হইল চারি তাহে নাহি জানে আপনার স্মৃতি গেল তবে তা লিখেনে
They did not notice that they had 4 arms. They even forgot themselves. So how did they clap their hands?
হেন মতে বৈকুণ্ঠের সুখে নবদ্বীপ নাচিয়া যায় ন সবে গঙ্গার সমীপ
In this way, the people of Navadvip enjoyed the happiness of Vaikuntha as they danced along the path near the Ganges.
বিজয় করিলা যেন নন্দ ঘোষের বালাহা তেতে মোহন বংশী গলে বনমালা
It appeared that the son of Nanda Maharaj had descended with an enchanting flute in his hands and a garland of forest flowers around his neck.
এই মতো কীর্তন করিয়া সর্বলোক পাশরিলা দেহ ধর্ম যত দুঃখ সুখ।
While performing kirtan in this way, everyone forgot their bodily characteristics such as distress and lamentation. So that's the one symptom of coming to this spiritual platform, isn't it? Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma
Nasochati.
Nashochiti Nakangshiti Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. When you come to the platform of the spirit, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, one becomes transcendentally satisfied, spiritually satisfied. The Sochati Nakangshiti, not happiness, no lamenting. Later we'll see that Lord Chaitanya was dancing and having Sankirtan in the house of Srivas Thakur. And during the Kirtan, one of Srivas Thakur's sons expired.
Oh, no.
You know this?
Yeah.
So some of the ladies in the house began lamenting. And Srivas Thakur said, no, please, don't lament. Don't lament. Because Lord Chaitanya is here. Don't mess up the performance of the Sankirtan, the devotional service. So they listened to Srivas Thakur and they stopped. And so the Kirtan went on for another 7.5 hours. 7.5 hours. So at the end, Lord Chaitanya then said, well, it seems like there's something going on, So then they said, oh, Srivas Thakur's son had died. And Lord Chaitanya, he said at that time that someone who was not even disturbed by happiness and distress, even because of the death of a family member, I'm purchased by that person. So he said, now Srivas Thakur has lost a son, but because of this, me and Lord Nityananda will become his son. That's what he said. So it's not that they didn't observe any then right after that they observed the funeral rites for the child. And then Lord Chaitanya had the child speak and explain transcendental knowledge to all those present. That he had been there. He had come to this family by his karma, and he had to leave his particular time of staying in that body had expired, so he had to go to his next body according to the desire of the Lord. He told that to everyone. And he quoted the verse. You know the verse. Dehinosmin yata dehe komaram yovanam jarat yata dehantara praptir dhirastatra namukhyati. So he said, no need for undue lamentation in this case. So everybody was enlightened by that. So that's a symptom of someone actually coming to the spiritual platform, not undue lamentation or undue happiness for material gain. Next. Mother Mukti Datri's
Sorry, bro, I'm little busy. গড়াগড়ি যায় কেহ মালসাট পুরে কাহার জিহ্বায় নানা মত বাক্য স্ফুরে।
Some people rolled on the ground and some slapped their limbs. Various words manifested on the tongues of some people. So usually when we do our Harinam Sankirtan in the cities or during the Ratha Yatra, we don't usually roll on the ground. I haven't seen that. Maybe some of you have seen that. I don't see that, but anyway, slapping their limbs. Apparently, there was an associate of Lord Krishna by the name of, what was his name? Madhumangal. He used to slap his limbs. So somehow that's a a symptom of great happiness. Have you ever witnessed that? The slapping of limbs as an expression of great happiness? I haven't seen that. Anybody? Okay, I don't know. Apparently, no. Something special. Murari Gupta Prabhu, you were just reaching over. No.
No, I was saying I've never seen that either. I look forward to the day I see it though. I'd be very
Okay.
ecstatic when I see somebody in that ecstatic dream just slapping their limbs.
Okay. Yeah. So something we'll have to see. Maybe we'll see it sometime. Next time. Next.
What is the meaning of slap their limbs?
Well, you have limbs. You have your arms, your legs, different parts of the body, and you
Right.
slap them with. Usually, slap is with the hand. Oh, Acharya Prabhu is going. He's got some. He's going to add something here. Good.
You've never heard of a funny joke being called a knee slapper?
Ah, very good, very good. Yeah. Excellent. So I didn't think of that. Thank you, Acharya Prabhu. Very good point out. Nice. So this, yes. Thank you.
কেহ বলে এবে কাজী বেটা গেল কোথা লাগি পান এখন ছিন্দিয়া ফেলঙ্গ মাথা।
Some said, "Where is that Kazi fellow now? If we find him, we will tear off his head."
রড দিয়া যায় কেহ পাষণ্ডী ধরিতে, কেহ পাষণ্ডীর নামে কিলায় মাটিতে।
Some people ran to catch the atheists, and some punched the ground while uttering the name of an atheist. Doesn't say they punched the atheists, though. Go ahead.
না জানি বা কতজনে মৃদঙ্গ বাজায়, না জানি বা মহানন্দে কতজনে গায়।
Who can say how many people played mridangas? Who can say how many people sang in great ecstasy?
হেন প্রেম বৃষ্টি হইল সর্বনদিয়ায়, বৈকুণ্ঠ সেবক যাহা চাহে সর্বথায়।
There was such a downpour of ecstatic love of God all over Nadia that even the inhabitants of Vaikuntha hankered for it. Wow.
যে সুখে বিহব্বল অজ অনন্ত শঙ্কর, হেন রসে ভাসে সর্ব নদিয়া নগর।
All of the Nadia floated in the mellows of the ecstasy that overwhelms Brahma, Ananta, and Shiva.
গঙ্গা তীরে তীরে প্রভু বৈকুণ্ঠের রায়, সাঙ্গপাঙ্গ অস্ত্র পরিশোধে নাচি যায়।
The Lord of Vaikuntha danced along the bank of the Ganges with his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions.
পৃথিবীরও আনন্দের নাচি সমুচ্চয় আনন্দে হইলা সর্ব দিক পথময়।
The earth had never witnessed such ecstasy. The roads in all directions were filled with ecstasy.
তিলমাত্র অনাচার হেন ভূমি নাই, পরম উত্তম হইল সর্ব ঠাই ঠাই।
There was not the slightest misbehavior to be found anywhere. Even each of those places became most sanctified. Purport, all those places became most sanctified by the influence of Hari Kirtan. Even ordinary places no longer remained like desolate abodes of sense gratification, devoid of Kirtan. So just the Kirtan made all of Navadvip sanctified, along with Lord Chaitanya's presence there. This is a good thing to remember. Just like Srila Prabhupada named the temple in Port Royal, Pennsylvania, Gita Nagari, where the Gita, the song of God, is always spoken. It becomes transcendental by hearing by that sound vibration. Similarly, when you go to the Navadvip area and follow Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan party, you can know that all the areas there are transcendentally sanctified by Lord Chaitanya's presence and the presence of the Sankirtan Jagya. Gaura Mandala Bhumi, Jai Bhaji, Chintamani. Narottam Das Thakur says all this Gaura Mandala Bhumi, the places of pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, it's as good as the spiritual world. Chintamani, Goloka Vrindavan. Okay. Thank you. Comments, questions, additions, subtractions? We're about 2/3 of the way through this Sankirtan party. You might think this, and this is all taking place, in one night, apparently. It seems like it's going on for some time. The answer to that question, how long the first inaugural Sankirtan party of Lord Chaitanya took place, will be answered a little bit later, probably next week. So I was wondering, how is it that this is on and on, the Sankirtan is going? What was going on with the Kazi all this time, or what were people doing? But we'll get the answer next week, I believe. Yes, Murari Gupta Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, very enlivening reading as usual. Gets me really fired up to go back out. That last part, I've started to see that, when we were in New Orleans and we were going down there, and that's like the mode of ignorance personified. Eventually, little by little, we started to see it gradually come up, just the people around. And here I'm tangibly seeing these places that we're returning to over and over, like City Hall, like where we chant at City Hall. It's almost like a portal, people come into that little area, and now most passerbys stop. They interact with us now. People are taking books as soon as we set up the table, and it's just purifying the atmosphere, the chanting of the holy names on a steady basis, and we're starting to see that. We're seeing that there. We're seeing it at Temple University. And it's very amazing to see. And it's cool to read that right here. And it's just something I've been experiencing lately through the daily Sankirtan. So.
Thanks so much for that. So these activities are just not something that happened 500 years ago, but they continue today, even in Philadelphia. Thank you. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Namo Namaha.
Hey.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Vishnugada ki jai.
Jai.
Hey, Krishna.